Hello lovelies, on today's video I'll be showing you how to make this two-piece outfit. It's a kimono top and short. We'll be drafting the pattern on the fabric and I'll be showing you how to join it together. Thank you everyone for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe to our channel. For this outfit, I'll be using 3 yards of Ankara print for it. The first thing we're going to do is to work on the short. After that, we'll go over to the top. So cut out the length that you need and the wideness. For the length, I used 26 inches and the wideness was 15 inches. Then I went ahead and I marked out the waist, the hip and the crotch. So I'm using the same measurement for the waist, hip and crotch. The hip is 9 inches, that's the hip depth from your waist to your hip. Then you mark it, and also the crotch was 12 inches, so you mark the crotch line. Okay, so after you've drawn the crotch and the hip line, you're going to use your hip measurement divide by 4 and insert it on the crotch line. So the waist, the crotch and the hip are having the same measurement. So mark the waist, mark it on the hip and also mark it on the crotch line. Then take your ruler and connect it with a straight ruler. Okay, so after you've connected it, I went ahead and I inserted the sewing allowance before I inserted the crotch. For the crotch, to get it, okay, the first part of the front, you have to divide the crotch line by 2, and whatever you have, that's what you'll be inserting on the crotch. So what I have was 2.5, and you connect it to the hip and also to the waist. But I went ahead and I added 1 inch on the hip, and I also added 1 inch on the crotch. So after adding it to the hip and to the crotch, you are going to connect that 2.5 that you have all the way to the hip line. I'm sorry if you can't see it very clearly. The chalk that I had was just this blue. Please bear with me. So I went to the waist and I inserted the waist measurement. For the waist, I cut out 1 inch from it and I connected it all the way to the hip, okay? So that it will have that shape on the hip line. Then from the crotch, you are going to come down by 5 inches if you are working with trouser piece, but I'm not working with trouser piece. Since it's a short, I divided the lap by 2. Okay, so what I had for the lap was 28 inches and I divided it by 2 and marked it. Okay, so if you have 28 inches, add 1 inch to it, or if you have 30 inches, you add 1 inch to it and you connect it. Okay, so that was what I did. Instead of marking 5 inches, then you connect it all the way down to your waist to knee. Mine, I connected it straight so that since it's a short, okay, that's why I did it that way. But if you are doing a trouser piece, you are not going to do it that way. So go ahead and cut it out. I cut out the half an inch, then I'll be using it to cut out the back. So for the back, you are going to place the front piece on a different fabric, and you are going to make sure the end of the fabric is equal. Then after doing that, come up on the waistline by half an inch, then you connect it all the way to the waistline. Okay, so on the crotch you come out by 2 inches, on the hip you come out by 2 inches, same on the waist. Then connect it all the way to the crotch line. Okay, after you've come out by that 2 inches, you connect it from the crotch to the hip, or from the waist to the crotch line. Okay, so after you've connected it, on the other part of the short, you are going to mark 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch all the way down to the hem line of your short. So that's basically how to cut out your short. So cut it out and you've gotten your back piece. So for the back, we just added 2 inch and 1.5 inch. Okay, then there was nothing added on the side, so that's why we had to make it equal. So cut it out and you've gotten your short piece for both the front and also the back. This is it. This is the short piece. So what you are going to do is to join the cross line. So you join the cross of both the front and also that of the back. After joining it, I'm going to show you what to do next. But first, let's draft our kimono top. So for the kimono top, the length that I used was 28 inches. You can also use 30 inches. And the wideness I used was 15 inches. Okay, so I have to cut it out, and I make sure the front is way bigger than the back. Okay, because remember we are joining the front and also we are cutting out a v-neck for the front. So I went ahead and I came down by 11 inches so that I can be able to mark the sleeve. I used 8 inches for the shoulder measurement and I marked 3 inches for the wideness, and I came down by 2 inches for the neck. Okay, so 3 inches, 2 inches. Then from that shoulder line, I went and I marked 16 inches. That's what I used for the sleeve. Okay, the length of the fabric, that's what you use. So if it's 15 inches, use 15 inches. If it's 16, use 16 inches. Depends on how long and how long you want the sleeve to be. So from that part, I came down by 1 inches and I connected it all the way down to the 8 inches that I have, and I marked it. So if you want to add your other sleeve, just come down from that 1 inches and you add your sleeve allowance and connect it. Okay, so but if you are not doing that, you are cutting the sleeve together, you come down and you connect it to the 16 inches with a straight line. The next thing I did was to mark the half length and the hip depth. So I marked the 17 inches for my half length and the hip depth was 9 inches. Then from that 17 inches, I added the waist measurement. So the waist was 9 inches. Then I added 4 inches to it to make it 13 inches in total. Okay, so you mark your 13 inches and you connect it all the way down to the sleeve. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm connecting it down to the hip or down to the end of the fabric. Okay, so I mark the hip line, and if you want to do it this way, you mark the hip line and you connect it. This way is going to have a different shape, but I wanted to connect it straight. So for the total length that I want, the total wideness, sorry, that I need, I have to connect it from the hem line straight to the 1.5 inch I came out with for the sleeve. Okay, so that was the only part that had the curve, just the sleeve area. Okay, that was the only part I added the curve. So what you do, you cut it out, and this is it after cutting it out. So for the front, I've already went and I went to cut at the v-neck. I'm sorry for not recording it, but I'll be showing you how I did that. So for the v-neck, what I did was from that neckline, I came down by 9 inches. After marking the 9 inches, I went and I came in by 1 inch. Then took my ruler and connected it to that 1 inch. Okay, so after you've connected from that 1 inch to the neck, I took the ruler and I connected it all the way down. Okay, so that was what I did. I had to cut out that part that I connected. So that was what gave me the V-neck. Then I went ahead and I cut out an interfacing for it. Okay, so this is what we'll be using to turn it out. So this is the short. I've drawn the crush. You are going to open it up and you'll be joining the sides together and also joining the crush from the front and also the back together. So pin it up, you join the crush area and you are going to join the sides together. So after you've joined the crush, join the lap area, everything together. So after joining the front with the interfacing, I use it to turn it. Okay, so turn out the front neckline. That's what you will do basically. You place it together this way, and after placing it, you see it, you've gotten your V shape and you've gotten your everything for the front. Okay, so use that interfacing that you cut to turn it out. That is for the lining piece. Then I also bought these buttons and they were so pretty. That was what I used to design the front piece. Then I went ahead and I marked the part I want the slit to stop. Okay, so where the slit is going to start and also where the slit is going to stop. Remember, we'll be stitching the hem-line with 1 inch, so you have to mark it while stitching so that you're able to know where to stop. So I placed it this way and you'll be stitching it. Okay, you place one side on top of the other and you stitch it up. After pinning it, this is what you're going to do. So you stitch from that V-shaped side all the way to the point you want the slit to stop. Then I went ahead and I marked for the pocket. That was 17 inches. I did the same thing for both the front and the back. And I went ahead and I cut out the pocket piece. So for the pocket piece, just cut the size you want it to be, okay? And insert it on the two sides of your dress. That's the front piece and the back piece. After inserting it, you are going to join the sides together. But before joining the sides, remember you have to join the shoulder to shoulder, and also you have to join the back neckline. So you'll be turning the back with another interfacing. I'll be showing you how to cut the back. So I just want to talk through and walk you through how to cut out the pocket. So I went and I cut out the pocket size that I want, then pin it up to the front piece and the back piece on that waist line that you mark. You pin it up. So this was the leftover fabric that I had, and it was small, so I just decided to add a smaller pocket to it. So do the same thing for yours. Remember I said after pinning it up you join the sides, but we are not joining the sides now. We'll be joining the shoulder to shoulder together, then before we join the sides and join the pocket. So when you join it, so that part the pocket is, you are going to top stitch on the pocket area and you are going to stitch it down to where you want the slit to be. So I added slit to the side. So this is the back piece, and I'm going to use this little piece of fabric that I have to turn it out. Okay, so place it this way and you are going to cut out the neck of it. So the interfacing for the neck or the lining piece for the neck. So I went ahead and I cut it out. The reason why we are joining it instead of using bias is for it to be very neat, and also we'll be using the back lining to turn out the front. So you are going to have that perfect neat finishing on the front and also on the back. Okay, so if you have a longer fabric, you can actually do it all the way down to the sleeve length. Okay, so the lining piece that you'll be using will be very, 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 very long. Okay, so but I'm using just this short one. So place the lining piece. This is how you are going to do it. Okay, so after you stitch it up, you are going to turn it over this way. So it's going to be underneath it. After you flipped it, you are now going to place the front piece and you stitch it with the lining piece. Don't worry, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just giving you a rough piece. Then this is the front. I've joined it up, and can you see it? Plus the slit. Can you see the slit? We've gotten the front piece design. So I'm going to turn the neck and join the front with it, but before joining it I want to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the back. Can you see the back piece? Then after you join it, iron it up and place the front on it. So this is the front piece, and we are going to take the back lining piece, can you see it, and flip it over, then join it all the way to the end of your shoulder or the sleeve. So you do the same thing for the other part. Can you see? So you join it all the way to the end. Do the same thing for it. I'll be showing you how to cut and also join the sleeve band. So this is it after stitching the neck and the shoulder. Can you see it is having that neat finishing on the inside and also on the outside. So this is the front and the back joined together, and also this is our sleeve. So for the sleeve you have to cut out the band. Can you see this is the band that I use 5 inches or 4 inches, so it depends on how wide you want it to be. You join it front side facing back side, the front side of your fabric facing the back side of your sleeve piece, and you are going to stitch. But what I did first was to iron it up with my hemming gum, then I am going to attach it. So I folded one part in with the hemming gum, then the other part I attached it to it. So the front side of your band facing the back side of your dress. So you pin it up, then after you are done, flip it over and stitch it. So that's what I did, and I went ahead and joined the sides to the part I want it to stop. So I added slits to it. Okay, so I had to mark it 5.5 inches for the slit. So I'm going to stitch it up and show you how it looks. Then for the pocket, what I said earlier, top stitch on it and you stitch it round. Okay, so I'll stitch everything and show you how it looks. So this is it. I've joined the band and I've attached the pocket. This is the pocket, and also this is the slit for the top. Okay, so all you are going to do, use your interlocking machine to lock it, then before you iron it with your hemming gum. So this is basically it for the top. I'm going to use my interlocking machine and I'm going to attach the buttons and show you how it looks when I'm done attaching the buttons. So just figure out how you want to attach the buttons, if you want to put them together, if you want to separate it, or if you want to add more buttons. The choice is yours. So for the short, we are going to work on the band for the short. Okay, so I've stitched it up. This is what I have. Then for the band, I went ahead and I cut out the band and joined the band together. Okay, because we'll be attaching elastic to it. So the elastic I'm using is that 1/2 inch, and I'll be attaching 2 pieces to it. So we'll be stitching 2 lines on the band. So I took my ruler and I marked 0.75 on the upper part of the band, and also I'm going to mark the bottom part where I want the to start stitching the band from. Okay, so that is 1/2 inch. You are going to mark it from the bottom part, you mark 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's 1/2 inch that you mark, you are going to stitch it round. So you have the first stitching and you're also going to have the second stitching. So you stitch the bottom part and you also stitch the upper part of the band, that part we mark. Okay, so the bottom part was not marked. You are going to give an opening, and that opening is where you stitch it round and stopped on both sides, both the upper part and the bottom part. So that was what I did. That opening is where we are going to attach the elastic. So I just mark 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've stitched it up. I'm going to cut out the elastic that will be attaching to the band. To get your accurate measurement for the elastic, you are going to take your waist measurement. So the waist measurement I had was 36 inches. I went ahead and I cut out 32 inches. Okay, so instead of cutting out 36 inches, I minus 4 inches from it and I cut out 32 inches. So do the same thing for yours. You are going to cut 2 from it. Okay, instead of cutting one elastic, I am adding 2 elastic like I said earlier. So I went ahead and I cut out two piece of elastic, and that is what will be attaching to the band. So cut it out and take your pin or your hook, and you are going to use it to insert the elastic to the band, so the upper part and also the bottom part of the band. Just watch what I'm doing. That's how you are going to insert yours to your band. See that opening that we gave where we stop stitching both lines? You are going to start inserting it. So insert the upper part, then later insert the bottom part. While attaching it, you take it this way and you stitch it up. Okay, so you've attached it. You are going to take the tip of both the elastic and you are going to stitch it together. So you join the elastic. So you do the same thing for the other part. You start inserting it. Once you've gotten to that midpoint that we have as an opening, take it out and you join it, then extend the elastic. So that was basically what I did for mine. I'm sorry the video is very fast. I had to make it fast because of how long the video was. Okay, please bear with me. So after you've inserted your elastic, I'm going to show you what to do next. This is it after inserting the elastic. I'll be attaching it to the short. So it depends on where you want to start. You can start it from the front, you can start it from the back. Okay, so the joining, that's what I meant by starting from the front or the back. So I started mine from the back all the way down to the back again. Okay, so you are stitching it round. So you start while stitching, be extending the elastic. So this is it after stitching. I'm going to do a separate video and explain more details on how to make a band for your trouser piece or your skirt. So for the bottom part, you join the hem line. After you've locked it with your interlocking machine, either you use hemming gum or you stitch it up. Okay, so mine was stitched. I just wanted to show you that you can use hemming gum for your shorts. So this is the front piece, and I'm going to use my interlocking machine. After locking it, I'm going to show you how it looks. This is how it looks after stitching, and this is the final product of our two piece. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching today's tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bye, guys. God bless you.